Well, the Braves dropped game five of the World Series, unable to clinch it at home despite getting a grand slam from Adam Duvall in the first inning. Pitching was not able to hold up in this one. The Astros bats do come alive and they come from behind for the 9-5 victory and force a game six and force the series back to Houston. We'll be talking about everything from game five, some questionable decisions as well from manager Brian Snicker. Be breaking all that down from game five in this game five post game episode podcast. So let's get into it.
Hey, this is Stacey Gotsoulias,
DC Lundberg,
Ryan Finkelstein,
Taylor Blake Ward,
host of Locked On Yankees,
Locked On Mariners,
Locked On Mets,
Locked On Angels,
and you're listening to Locked On Braves.
Locked On Braves,
Locked On Braves,
part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Braves, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your favorite teams every day. I am your host, Jake Mastriani. You can follow me on Twitter at ShortstopBall. Also, make sure you follow the podcast on Twitter at LockedOn_Braves, and make sure that you subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you check us out on YouTube as well. And thanks for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. We post episodes 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and we are free and available on all platforms. As I said in the top here, the Braves drop game five of the World Series. Not going to lie, this one hurt as much as I'm sure game four hurt for the Astros. This one really hurts for the Braves, maybe not quite as in dramatic fashion because the game was really kind of over in the middle innings. But, you know, to have a lead twice in game five at home with a chance to clinch the World Series and not be able to close it out, that certainly hurts. And I know Atlanta fans, they're thinking about the horrors of Atlanta sports in the past right now, seeing stuff like that happen and being able to close it out at home. That definitely hurts. You have to try to think positively here and know that still got 2 games to win one. You got your ace and Max Fried on the mound in game 6, and you got Ian Anderson after that as well. So you got to think positively here. You still have a really good shot at winning this World Series, but it does sting not to be able to do it at home. If for no other reason than I really wanted to see Rob Manfred have to hand the Braves a trophy in Atlanta just to see how loud he gets booed. But that dream, unfortunately, will not be coming true here. But the Braves' dreams are still alive, so you got to keep that in mind. But still tough, especially you get a grand slam in the first inning from Adam Duvall. Not gonna lie, I was sitting here thinking, are the Braves actually gonna do this, and are they actually gonna make it easy? I asked for it on the preview podcast. Can they just put up 10 runs and make this an easy win? And I thought maybe we were gonna get that, but unfortunately not the case here. Some questionable pitching choices from manager Brian Snicker in this one. I thought he managed this game more for game 6 and game 7 than he did for winning game 5. We'll see if that works, if that is his benefit going forward in the series or not. But definitely some questionable moves here, which we'll get into later in the podcast. And I wonder if the moment got too big for the Braves as well. Again, you get that 4-run homer. Me as a fan, I'm thinking, wow, they're really going to do this. They're really going to win the World Series here in Atlanta, and it's really just going to come this easy. You got to wonder if the players kind of had that in their mind as well and were kind of relaxed a little bit because, it was a completely different team after that. Obviously, you can't expect to get much out of Tucker Davidson there, a big spot out of him. Can understand him kind of folding under the pressure of trying to close out a World Series clinching game. When you don't have much, you had no postseason experience and very little big league experience. But you even had the error by Dansby and just, there really weren't a lot of great at-bats after that other than Austin Riley. So I just wonder if the moment got a little too big for them there. It certainly seemed like that was the case with AJ Minter, just not able to throw a strike to Martin Maldonado. So again, closing these things out is difficult. This is why, before the series started, I picked the Astros, and I thought it would play out similar to this. I thought the Braves would split in Houston, win 2 of 3 in Atlanta, but I wasn't sure of their capability to be able to close out this series against a veteran Astros team. And, I hate to mention it here, but Charlie Morton not being here for this game 5, how big is that? I mean, injuries are part of the game. The Astros have their fair share of injuries as well. But I mean, can you imagine having Charlie Morton on the mound? You get a grand slam in the first inning and you got your horse on the mound. Again, I got to throw that out of my mind because it wasn't the case. There's nothing you can do about it at this point. Got to push past it. Wish Charlie all the best. Hopefully he gets another shot next year. But overall, just not a great game 5 for the Braves. Not a great feeling after this one as a Braves fan, but still got to think positively. Got 2 more to try and win 1. Take a break here, and then we'll recap everything from game 5. Does this sound familiar to you? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. All right, so going through the recap of this game, again, it was pretty clear for me at least, and I think to a lot of people watching this game, that Tucker Davidson just didn't have it. And that's no shot at him. I mean, it was pretty clear for Dylan Lee too in game 4. But again, no shot at Tucker Davidson here. The kid hasn't pitched in a big league game since June. He's only had 5 big league starts altogether. Hasn't pitched in a postseason yet. This is a big ask of him to try to get several innings for the Braves in this game. But it was pretty clear from the start that it just wasn't going to be his day. He did get through the first inning. He gave up a 1-out walk to Brantley, but then got a big double play. Ball Correa hit back up the middle and had the shift on him. So pretty easy double play for Ozzie to turn there. So he gets out of the first inning unscathed. And then the bottom of the first, like we talked about, Soler led off the game with a single, and then Freddie Freeman and Ozzie followed that with outs. Then Riley got a hit. Riley was really good in this game. Hate to waste that performance and a loss. Rosario walked, and that set up the grand slam for Adam Duvall. And again, at this point, there's jubilation. Everybody's texting me. And I wanted to be, excited, and I wanted to think positively here. And I was, again, like I told you at the top, I was thinking, is it really going to be this easy? But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking there's still way too much game left here. The Braves still have to get through these first 5 innings, before they can turn it over to the back of the bullpen. But they get the grand slam still. You're in a great feeling. It's a great position to be in. You're up 4-0 in the first inning. Davidson comes back out in the second. Again, still just not really sharp. He gives up a 1-out single and a walk. For me at that point, not only should the bullpen be getting ready, the bullpen should have been ready. And this is probably my biggest gripe for Brian Snitker in this game. Again, I get it. He wanted to get innings out of Davidson, trying to get as much out of Davidson as he could, especially once he got that 4-run lead. He's thinking, okay, I probably have a little wiggle room here with Davidson. Can probably give him a little bit longer leash. This is a chance to win the World Series at home. You got to be a little bit more aggressive than this. I talked about it in the preview episode. I mean, you got the off day on Monday. If the Braves did lose this one, I thought it was still an opportunity for Snitker to kind of go all out to try to win this game. I get it. He had to use his big guys in the bullpen in the first 2 games. So you don't really want to use them 3 days in a row if you don't have to, but this is the World Series. Let me state it again. This is the World Series. You got a chance to win it. You take an early 4-0 lead. You got a rookie out there that clearly doesn't have it. You got to get somebody else in there. And when he gives up, the single and the walk, puts 2 on with 1 out, at that point, at the very least, you got to have the bullpen ready to go if he puts another runner on base. You really needed a shutdown inning there to kill any hope that the Astros had. But Snitker stuck with Davidson. He gave up the double to Bregman. Hopefully that doesn't get him going. They moved Bregman down in the lineup. And then he gave up the sac fly to Maldonado, who honestly, he has scared me a lot in the series. He has hit a lot of balls really hard. But they immediately cut the lead in half. So a 4-0 lead is suddenly a 4-2 lead, just like that in the blink of the eye. And again, Davidson, to me, my eyes, clearly didn't have it in the first inning, clearly didn't have it in the second inning. He never should have come back out for that third inning. Just never. Like, in no way, no scenario ever should he have come back out for that third inning. This is the World Series. I don't know how many times I got to say this. It is the World Series. Why are you bringing this kid back out for a third inning? He just gave up 2 runs, and it's a 4-2 game. 4-2 game. You're watching your 4-0 lead just evaporate like that. And I don't get it. And, some of it not his fault. I know Dansby had the error to start that inning, but then he walked Brantley, and he gets pulled after that for Jesse Chavez. And again, this is my other gripe here. I'd have been fine if he would have started that inning with Jesse Chavez. That would have been perfectly fine. You want to do that, that's fine. Go to Jesse Chavez, go to Chris Martin, try to steal an inning or two from those guys, and then turn it over to the back end of the bullpen. That's perfectly fine. But once there's 2 on with 1 out, go to A.J. Minter. Go to A.J. Minter. Go with a power guy that has the ability to get a strikeout, to work out of this jam, but he doesn't. He goes to Jesse Chavez. And what does Chavez do? He goes to a 3-2 count on Correa, throws a cookie right down the middle, and Correa gaps it, makes it a 4-3 game. They end up tying it up that inning. It's 4-4, and that grand slam, all that momentum is gone just like that. And that, to me, was the ball game here. I know Freddie Freeman hits the home run, comes right back out, hits a home run, and gives the Braves a lead again. But that, to me, that third inning in particular was the game for me. Davidson never should have started that inning. Once he got in trouble, you have to go to a big reliever to get out of it. And Snitker he didn't do it. I mean, he's been great all postseason. So, this is really the one game where I just really did not like his managerial approach with the bullpen. You have to cut that rally that the Astros have. You got to cut that momentum. You bring in Minter there and he gets out of that jam. Maybe you get one more inning out of him. I know Minter wasn't exactly his sharpest in this one. Gave up the 3 runs in the 5th inning, but still, he's been great. I have more confidence in him there in that 3rd inning to get out of that jam, to squash that rally for the Astros and kind of cut off their momentum, keep the lead at 4-2. And, who knows how it would have played out after that. I get it. You still have to get through those innings before you can get to Luke Jackson and Matzik and Smith in the back of the bullpen. You got to get through at least 5 innings for that to happen. But still, that to me was the game. Davidson never should have come out for the 3rd inning. And you got to go to a power pitcher to get out of that jam. And he didn't. The Astros tied it up. Like I said, again, credit to Freddie Freeman. He came right back out, hit an absolute blast, 460 feet, to give the Braves the lead once again at 5-4. And you kind of felt like that was going to be the moment, right? Like the Braves guy comes out, after they just blew a 4-0 lead, he hits an absolute bomb to give them the lead. And you're thinking, okay, here's the moment. Freddie Freeman, the franchise player, comes out, gives them the lead in Game 5. And, I'm thinking, okay, this is the moment. Things are going to settle back down here. And that wasn't the case, unfortunately. Another questionable decision here. After the Braves take the 5-4 lead, Chavez comes back out. Again, that's fine. He gave up a hit to Greinke, which is whatever. And then he gets Altuve out, and Brantley's coming up. And Snitker decides to bring in Minter. This to me was a bad move for a couple of reasons. And I'm kind of, again, I said earlier, should have brought in Minter when it was in a jam. This to me wasn't a jam. It was a 1-out single by a pitcher who happened to be late on a pitch and squared it up the other way, good on Greinke. But then I didn't feel like this was necessarily a jam. And you let Chavez get through that inning potentially. If he gets Brantley out, then you had the pitcher spot coming up that next inning anyway. Could have used a pinch hitter. Instead, Snitker decides to bring in Minter to now put out the jam, a 2-out jam with a runner on first. So I don't get that. I just don't understand what Snitker was doing with a lot of the moves in this game. If you were going to go to Minter there with 2 outs and a runner on first, why weren't you going to go to him with 2 on and 1 out in the 3rd inning when you're trying to stop a rally? I don't get that at all from Snitker in this game. But, Minter gets out. He does get Brantley. He gets out of there. He ends up having to bat in the bottom of the inning. Like I said, the pitcher spot came up. He comes back out for the fifth, gives up a two strike single to Correa, and then a 1-out single to Gurriel. Gets Tucker to ground out. Then they intentionally walk Bregman, which I get it. Bregman is a good hitter overall. He has not been good in this postseason. He did have the double earlier in the game, but that to me I thought was a bit questionable, especially in hindsight. But it just put a lot of pressure on Minter there. With the bases loaded and a walk can force in a run, and Maldonado going up there, he's guarding the plate. He's just taking pitches. I mean, he's daring Minter to throw him a strike, and I think Minter let the moment get to him a little bit. I think he was honestly a little tired too, and just unable to throw a strike. Walks Maldonado, ties the game up, gives up a bloop single to a pinch hit Marwin Gonzalez, and it's 7-5. And I mean, that was the game. The third inning and that spot right there as well. If Minter can just throw strikes to Maldonado, he's out of that jam, but he can't. And the Astros take the lead, and that was pretty much the game right there. I mean, and then Snitker throws in the white flag in the seventh inning. I know everybody was up in arms about that one with Smiley. I can actually live with that a little bit more than I can how he managed the earlier part of the game when you had a lead. Still, bringing in Smiley is never a good situation, but it was a 2-run game still at that point in the seventh when you bring in Smiley. And Smiley gives up a run in the seventh, gives up a run in the eighth, and makes it 9-5. And it's pretty much, over at that point. He did get a 1-2-3 inning in the ninth when he was facing their 7, 8, 9 hitters, one of which was Kendall Graveman, who he went 3-2 on and almost walked. So, again, I don't want to see Smiley again in this series. He did cover the last 3 innings, which I guess saved the bullpen in that regard, and the offense didn't come back. So, I guess, in hindsight, if you want to look at it now, I guess it was the right move for Snitker not to use his big bullpen guys because the offense didn't mount a comeback there. But again, I can get over the Smiley one. It's the early inning decisions to, not go to somebody else to start the third and to not go to Minter once you got in a jam in that third inning. That decision right there is still what haunts me a little bit after that game. And the Braves scored 5 in this one. They got 4 in the first inning off the grand slam, and the other run came off a Freddie Freeman home run. They never had more than one base runner on in any inning the rest of the way. Now, they did have single runners on in 4 of those innings, but they never put multiple runners on after the first inning in this game. So, again, for me, the offense just still is not clicking on full cylinders. Again, the grand slam was great. That was awesome. I thought at that point that meant the Braves were going to go on to score, 7 or 8 runs in this game. I thought they would continue to kind of roll there, but they only got one more run the rest of the game. And like I said, they never had multiple base runners after that first inning. So again, I mean, 5 runs should typically be enough for this pitching staff to win. It wasn't in this game, but at the same time, I really just don't think this offense is going as well as it could be right now. Take one more break. We'll come back and wrap it up and talk about going forward in the series, what the Braves can do. Show is also brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. If you're looking for a fantastic tasting protein bar, look no further, as Built Bar has a ton of flavors and a wide variety of flavors at that. It's not just your regular run-of-the-mill flavors. They have a bunch of different flavors from almond toffee, salted caramel, dark chocolate raspberries, a ton of really interesting, really cool flavors you don't normally get in protein bars. Something that's going to give you a very unique taste, something that tastes good as well. They're not hard as a rock like a lot of the other protein bars out there. Has a very good taste, and they're great for you as well. Most of them only have about 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. So whether they like to take them before a workout, after a workout, as a meal replacement in the morning, or whether it's just a snack for you like it is for me, you can eat them anytime. I can't tell you enough how good they are, especially for a protein bar. Let's go to BuiltBar.com today. Try a bunch of different flavors. Figure out which ones are your favorites. Go to BuiltBar.com and use our promo code LockedOn15 to get 15% off your next order. Just go to BuiltBar.com today. Use the promo code LockedOn15. All right, so just a couple more things to wrap up Game 5 here. Like I mentioned at the top, I felt like Snitker managed this game not aggressively as I would have liked. Again, I talked about it in the preview with the off day. I thought you could be a little bit more aggressive here and go all in. He managed this game knowing he still had life. He managed this game knowing he still had a Game 6, whereas, Dusty had to manage this game, knowing there was no tomorrow. And Smoltz mentioned it during the game. Sometimes it's easier for a manager in that spot when you know you have no tomorrow to manage that type of game because you can't waste any bullets. As Snickers' back was against the wall, if they were in reverse here, I think Minter would have come in that third inning. I think you would have seen Luke Jackson, Tyler Maxick come in the sixth and seventh innings there. But, Snicker managed, knowing he has, 2 more chances at this. Like I said, if it works out and it turns out, that's the case, and the difference is the bullpen is rested, ready to go for games 6 and 7, and they get a win in one of those games, then this works out. But at the same time, as a fan's perspective, which is what I'm doing now, taking off the analyst hat, giving you my fan perspective, you had a chance to go for it. You had a chance to win a World Series at home. You had a lead. You had an early 4-0 lead, and I just didn't feel like he did. I didn't feel like he managed aggressively enough to try to seal the deal and get it done. But hopefully, again, it works out for him in the next 2 days, and the Braves are able to get it done with a fresh bullpen. Kind of leads me to my next point as well. I get it. This was kind of the one game you had to play with. Game 6, you can't play around anymore because you don't want to go to a game 7. You don't know what's going to happen. For me, the rest of the series, nobody else pitches except for Max Fried, Ian Anderson, AJ Minter, Luke Jackson, Tyler Matzek, or Will Smith. For me, nobody else takes the ball for the Braves except for those 6 pitchers. I think you do have to manage the rest of the way now like your back is against the wall, like it is a must win. Like I said, you do not want to go to a game 7 in Houston against that lineup with the experience they have. So for me, you could do it in game 5. That's fine. But the rest of the way, you got to use your aces. That's it. Ozzie's got to move down in the order. I've talked about it a lot. He's not seeing the ball well right now. He's really struggling. You got to move him down in the order. I'd go Soler, Freddie, Riley, Rosario, and then put Ozzie in the 5 spot there. But got to make a move there. Astros did it with Bregman. Worked out for them in game 5. I think it's time to make a move with Ozzie as well. And like I said, the Braves got 2 more chances here with 2 of their best starters left. You got to remember that as we go into these final 2 games. That will do it for this episode of Locked On Braves. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at LockedOn_Braves. Follow me on Twitter at ShortstopBall. Make sure that you are subscribed to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.